Welcome to Fantasy Football Free for All Waiver Wire Week 2. We're going to make your team better. So let's go through my top 7 waiver wire priorities and others receiving votes. In the first spot, we have Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert is the tight end out of the Eagles, and he is quickly becoming Carson Wentz's favorite target. With over 100 receiving yards and a touchdown, Dallas Goedert is really eating into the value of Zach Ertz. With shallow tight end depth across the entire NFL, Dallas Goedert is a value for anybody looking to plug that hole in their fantasy lineup. He's rostered in only 55% of leagues, and he was on the field for 85% of offensive snaps. Dallas Goedert and Carson Wentz have a really nice rapport. And I think Dallas Goedert is going to be a top 5 tight end. My number 2 waiver priority is James Robinson. James Robinson is an undrafted rookie for the Jaguars. He's rostered in only 29% of leagues, and he's the clear-cut choice to be the bell cow back in this backfield. In week 1, he had 62 rushing yards and 28 receiving yards. While this isn't an absolute stellar performance, it was his first game, and he's going to continue to build rapport with Gardner Minshew. I think he'll be a nice PPR RB2 or 3, but when you're looking at the waiver wire, an RB2 or 3 is a huge value. Don't miss out on James Robinson. With my third waiver wire priority, I am doing CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb is a rookie out of Alabama. All the reporters were just crazy about CeeDee Lamb when he came out in camp. He proved them right. He is part of one of the highest powered offenses in the league, and as a wide receiver 3, he has the best cornerback matchup. He's going to show the league why he was drafted in the first round. He is my waiver priority number 3. In the 4th slot is Joshua Kelley. Joshua Kelley is a rookie for the San Diego Chargers. He's rostered in only 11% of leagues and is quickly becoming a goal line back. With Austin Eckler taking much of the receiving work, Joshua Kelley is going to be your traditional ground and pound running back. Number 5 waiver wire priority is Nahim Heinz. Rostered in only 34.2% of leagues, Nahim Heinz has quickly become Philip Rivers' favorite running back for the receiving work. Philip Rivers is notorious for picking one receiver and making them have fantasy value because he just doesn't have the deep ball anymore. With the injury to Marlon Mack, it's just Nyheim Hines and Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor will take the traditional running back, workhorse, goal line work, but Nyheim Hines is going to be a PPR monster. I think that he's worth a deep stash, and that's why he's my waiver priority number 5. Moving on. Laviska Shenault is my number 6 waiver priority. Owned in just 6.7% of leagues, he has quickly become the number 2 receiver on this Jacksonville team. He had 4 targets in week 1 and converted them for 37 yards and a touchdown. While this doesn't sound like much, he's building a rapport with Gardner Minshew, and behind DJ Chark, he will have a great setup. I am very high on Gardner Minshew, and as a result, I think this Colorado prospect is going to just absolutely be worth every waiver dollar you spend on him. Don't overspend on your free agent budget, but no, Laviska Shenault will be a great bye-week fill-in and possibly a good flex option for the weeks to come. In the number 7 slot, we've got Cam Newton. In the offseason, he was acquired by the New England Patriots, which is honestly kind of unfair. Is anybody else sick of New England just having the best players? I think Cam Newton has a lot left in the tank, and he demonstrated that in week 1. A rusty Cam Newton threw for over 150 yards and had 2 rushing touchdowns. He should have had a third. Now, Cam Newton was widely undrafted. Go snag him. He's going to continue to develop a rapport with these receivers, and he's going to be a huge threat with his feet. His upside is monumental. And the division he plays for is almost garbage, with the exception of the Bills. You're going to see a scheme that is tailored specifically to Cam Newton. I think he's going to be a top 10 quarterback by the end of the year, and you want him on your fantasy team. Now, others receiving votes are Malcolm Brown, Paris Campbell, Jonnu Smith, Corey Davis, and Benny Snell Jr. We're going to go through each of these in a little more in depth. They don't make my waiver wire priorities because they all have some fundamental issue that we need to figure out. Malcolm, he's also in a crowded backfield. Cam Akers is who everyone thinks is going to be the bell cow back for that team. While Malcolm Brown had a great week 1, I don't think Sean McVay is going to just roll with the hot hand. They drafted Cam Akers for a reason, and they're going to use him. So be careful with Malcolm Brown. Don't expect him to win you every league. I'm not putting a whole bunch of free agent dollars into Malcolm Brown because I think that this is going to be a short-lived stint as a relevant running back. Paris Campbell is a great sophomore receiver. The problem with him is Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers is showing us that he doesn't have anything left in the tank. His deep ball floats in the air, and his precision is just not there. If Paris Campbell had almost any other quarterback, he would be on this list. But with Phillip Rivers, I just can't put him on there in any meaningful way. When Jacoby Brissett, and yes, I believe Jacoby Brissett will be the starting quarterback for the Colts this year, when Jacoby Brissett is in, look for Paris Campbell to have a huge breakout. Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith was a pretty solid performer last week, but we just need to see who is going to step out from this crowded receiving core in Tennessee. It's the same for Corey Davis. Both Corey Davis and Jonnu Smith have a rapport with Ryan Tannehill, but with so many potential options in the receiving game, I'm not sure who's going to get the receptions week to week. The other thing is this is a run-first team. What is Derrick Henry going to do if they change that offense? They're not going to change that offense, so you don't have to worry. So that makes Jonnu Smith and Corey Davis lower-end waiver priority picks. Finally, James Conner was injured in the first half of the Pittsburgh game in week 1. And as such, Benny Snell and Jalen Samuels got the bulk of the work. Jalen Samuels had 18 carries. Benny Snell had 24. Benny Snell was a much more productive back in this outing. And news out of camp is they love it. But the issue is James Conner is going to be back. He is the best running back on this team. So don't get overexcited about a handcuff. And Benny Snell is just that, a handcuff. We do not know yet what the week 2 injury report looks like, but when we do, we'll let you know. Just don't make Benny Snell a huge... Thank you, and this is another episode of the Fantasy Football Free-For-All. We will be back later this week with our projections and our week 2 injury report.